Let's bring in Republican Congressman Tony Gonzales. He represents the largest border district in Texas, stretching over 800 miles of the border. Congressman, good to be with you. There's a lot of criticism of the vice president for going to El Paso instead of going to the McAllen-Hidalgo area in the heart of the Rio Grande Valley sector. The vice president's office said that of El Paso, it represents larger border dynamics, and it is a critical part of understanding the human experience of migration. But take a look at these numbers. The Rio Grande Valley, the year-to-date 219,788 border encounters versus El Paso, 85,273. What's the difference between what the vice president would see in the Rio Grande Valley sector as opposed to what she's seeing today in El Paso?
Yeah, the border is very different throughout. You know, I represent over 40% of the border, and it's just very diverse. You know, Kamala's first visit to the border as vice president has been a huge flop. You know, she's just kind of parachuted in, only listen to folks for only a few hours. That's not how you listen to folks, and that's not how you respond to it. What's happening in El Paso is much different than what's happening in the Del Rio sector or in the Big Bend sector or Laredo or Rio Grande Valley. I'll give you an example. They're saying they're making progress. Well, in Culberson County, just very close to El Paso, there was a 35-year-old man traveling with his 15-year-old son from Ecuador. They make the trek. Well, guess what? His 15-year-old son dies because they got separated from a group. He died a horrible death, you know, not having any water. That's the reality of what's happening on the ground. Migrants are dying.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question about that. And as the heat continues to build as well, it gets more and more dangerous. And even Chad Wolf was saying that he doesn't expect there to be the typical decline in migration during the hot summer months. But I just wanted to point out, because we do like to be fair and balanced here at Fox News, Kamala Harris is getting a lot of criticism for going to El Paso. But back in March, a congressional delegation led by the House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy went to El Paso. Here's what he said during that visit.
I came down here because I heard of the crisis. It's more than a crisis. This is a human heartbreak. The sad part about all of this, it didn't have to happen. This crisis is created by the presidential policies of this new administration.
So he was very critical of the administration, but nobody criticized him for going to El Paso saying, oh, you missed the big story in the Rio Grande Valley sector. So why is the vice president coming in for so much criticism for doing the same thing?
You know, I was on that visit with Kevin McCarthy back in March, and what we saw in El Paso then were record numbers. That processing center where she visited today, it was beyond at capacity. Now, I've also visited that same processing center since then, and the numbers have gone down in the El Paso County, in the El Paso sector. But there's other sectors that the numbers have only increased. Del Rio and Rio Grande Valley in particular. So what I get at is this border crisis is always shifting and always moving. You can't just land somewhere, talk to somebody for a few hours, and then become an expert. You really have to dedicate the time and effort from all of it, from El Paso to Del Rio to the Rio Grande Valley, Little Laredo sector. All of it is important. I hope this is the first of many visits that she makes to really tackle this problem.
You know, something really popped out at me when the vice president's delegation landed there in El Paso. Congresswoman Veronica Escobar said to the press pool that was assembled there, "Welcome to the new Ellis Island," making comparisons between El Paso and the millions of people who came through Ellis Island in a wave of immigration to the United States in the early 20th century. What did you make of that comment?
There's a big difference. Look, we're a nation of immigrants. We are also a nation of laws, and our laws must be followed. What I make out of it is we need to reform our legal immigration process. At the same time, we have to uphold our laws. People don't feel safe. Encouraging folks to make this trek illegally is wrong. We need to reform our legal immigration system, welcome those who want to come live the American dream, but do it through a legal fashion. When we start encouraging folks to come over illegally, which is exactly what this administration has done, that is the wrong approach. That unravels America. We stand for law and order.
Congressman Tony Gonzales, good to have you with us today to kick off our coverage. And again, we're expecting to hear from the vice president coming up in the next half hour or so. Appreciate your time. Hope you have a good weekend. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.